From the creators of STAX and Second Left, welcome to The Sauce with Don and Till, your go-to for honest conversations on all things life, love, business, and everything in between. Because every day needs a little sauce.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Sauce with
Don and Till. You can do the whole thing. You know, take the intro, The Sauce and Don and Till, one sentence. We don't need to share it.
No, I think we have to share it. Like it's a 50-50 relationship responsibility. Because
okay.
I don't wanna fuck up the intro because
then it's all your fault. Yeah, okay.
So you're literally trying to set me up here for failure.
This is true. No, I would never. God
I've been through this already before, darling.
How are you?
Good. Today's good. Like
we are busy today. I feel like we are just smashing out everything.
No, I think like this last period has been insane. And of course we decided to do a podcast and take it up a level by recording it.
They say if you want something done, give it to the busiest person.
I feel like that's a Kris Jenner quote.
All my quotes.
You got like the Kris. Hey, what happened to that Kris Jenner book we had?
We actually got one, yeah.
Remember when it was just the three of us in the office?
Yeah. We used to read a Kardashian quote every day.
Yeah, it was like the Bible back then.
It was, but some of them were like, yeah.
so
I don't know if we want to say it's like the Bible, but I mean.
Sad. Firstly, shoes on the white sofa.
It's hardly white anymore. We need to get these couches dry cleaned.
I've ordered some in.
Have you got new couches coming?
Yep.
This is something about Don. He will always be renovating. Like nothing is ever finished. We are renovating the office. We're renovating the house. Everything's being renovated.
I always have a project. I think that keeps me focused.
I was going to say same, but that would have been the right word.
We've always got something going on. I like it because I like a bit of a distraction. I think that is actually one of the things that keep us sane in what we're doing. We have there's always something different. Wait, are you going
to talk about the crime shows?
You go.
Okay. So I was listening to one of my friends, Sal, speak on a panel, and she was talking about how every single Sunday she sends her husband and her child away for a couple of hours and she will watch true crime documentaries.
Can you say it again? True.
It's like a tongue. What's the little tongue twister? She sells seashells by the seashore.
Wow.
True crime documentaries, and it just gives her a chance to escape. And I thought, because Don and I are hooked on crime shows, we are currently watching Criminal Minds and we love it. And we'll watch other shows, my favorite show would be Real Housewives, but that doesn't give us escapism. I think that I worked out after hearing Sal talk, is that we love to watch true crime.
Because we can think and we can focus.
We can solve something that's so unrelated to our life. Whereas if we're watching Housewives, Kardashians, we're like, oh my God, we want to dress Kim, we want to do this, we want to be on this, we want to go here. So it's still kind of work related. Whereas we haven't committed these crazy true crimes that I'm aware of.
But we also know how to
solve them. Because the baddies...
I'm like, we can...
I know, I'm doing my PR work out of here. The baddies always get caught.
There he goes again.
The baddies always get caught. So it's just you can focus on something that is completely unrelated to your business. And I think that's why we always end the night with a crime show.
And that's escapism.
It's
where you can switch your mind off and not think about the things that consume you for 20-something hours a day.
Unless I do a question box, and then I am...
And then in which case we have to...
Pause and rewind.
Pause and rewind.
Whatever.
But, 7 years of it. So
Used to it now.
So I think today's focus for conversation is about you.
Me.
Because last week we told the story about, how I started STAX and where you came into the picture and...
we didn't even get to me last week.
I was going to say it was an hour and a bit, and I really hope people enjoy that episode. And I'm really, shout out and credit to our team that's really putting together the structure of these stories because objectively, I think people enjoy hearing about it. I know we've got so many crazy supporters and people that love what we do and love the brands, and I think it's such a good reference for people to understand where it's all started and where it's come from. I used to hate telling the stories.
And that we have a life and we have stories before the brand started.
Yeah. And I think people can relate to it. So Till and I are going to try and share as much as we can. So last week we told the story of how I started the brand, pretty much at the starting point of the brand. We also want people to get to know us a bit better. And people might realize that we Till and I always tell this joke or this comment that, we're just two kids from Perth that are trying to figure this thing out, and we have no clue what we're doing.
It's really not a joke, though, is it? It is the absolute truth.
It's facts.
It's facts.
And when we explain our stories and we explain where we've come from, you'll be able to connect and realize that we aren't telling a lie.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about, how we always think to ourselves, our parents have got it figured out, but they don't. When you're growing up, you think that...
So we are everybody's parents, is that what you're saying? Mum and dad over here.
I'm just saying, people think that we've got it figured out, but we don't.
No.
So, babe, tell us a bit about you.
Oh,
so
Can you help me, though?
No, I'm going to ask... I've got some good questions. So,
cool.
We're gonna fast forward till the time you sort of left school. So I want to understand the process, and I think you're going to remember some things you might not even told me, but some things, please don't tell me. Because there's
Renee, you're sworn to
Renee. Renee. We should do a podcast with Renee and I'll interview her and you.
And it'll be like the drink or like if you answer or drink.
No, I don't want to know.
We too drunk hooligans.
We might leave that podcast. It might be a bit awkward.
So Renee's my childhood best friend. Well, we became best friends when we were 13, and I was dating someone at school.
What?
I know, crazy.
I thought it was the first.
You are. And I was. Renee's friend had a crush on my boyfriend, so I thought Renee befriended me to get I thought it was all manipulation, like a game plan. So anyway, I became best friends with Renee, and it wasn't a game plan. It was manipulation. We've been best friends. And how old am I now? 23.
But best friends.
We've been best friends 20
Renee lives in Perth, and you see Renee a couple times a year, and it's like you guys go back into history and relive.
I kind of feel sorry for you sometimes at some points because we are just the same person.
No, we always go to a place we can eat a lot of foods. I'm just
true. Don's busy.
And you guys are just having a girl catch up.
Yeah. We always get told that we look like sisters too. And we used to put that we should have Renee on here. I feel like that would be fun.
This whole episode is dedicated to her. So you met Renee when you're 13.
Yes. Grew up in Perth, and I went to high school obviously. But I finished high school. I left high school early, and this is actually something that I haven't spoken about to anyone ever. Apart from you, actually.
I was so surprised. I'm not just saying
even
this
my parents don't know.
I'm not just saying this because you're wifey, but I was so surprised that you never finished school because you're super intelligent.
Thank you.
You're really smart. No, but I think that's a misconception for a lot of people that don't finish school. People get shoved into this box of oh, you're not going to do anything with your life.
I just didn't like school. Which is funny to say because both my parents are school teachers, principals. But
why didn't you finish school?
So when I was at school, if I put effort into something, I could do really well at it. I was really great at English. I was really great at media. I was absolutely terrible at maths. I remember at one point, I don't know if this is cringe, but my teacher asked me about the foundation of something, and I replied with, the only foundation I'll ever need is one that suits my skin tone. That's what I said. I was year 8 or year 9 or something, but I had all this witty banter. I got in trouble a lot, but I wasn't
I feel that's something Elle Woods would say.
I got in trouble a lot, but I wasn't naughty. I think the teachers quite liked me. I've always had banter. I've always been a bit sarcastic. I could get along with people. I just can't do multiplication or whatever. So I was good at some parts of school, some parts I wasn't. I was doing TEE, which I believe is called TER now.
What is that?
To get into
for our
university.
American friends that are watching this.
So to get into university, you would have to pass this test. So in year 10, I did TE. Year 11, I did TEE. And then to go into year 12, you needed to have 5 TEE subjects or something. And I had drama, English, media, social studies. It must have been 4. Anyway, I ended up not having enough TEE subjects to complete my TEEs to get into uni after year 12. So I couldn't do maths, I couldn't do science, I couldn't do geography, I couldn't just shove something in because I had no interest in it. And Don will know this, if I'm not interested in something, I'm just not interested in something. And so that was in year 11. At the same time, so basically my parents, this was a private school, my parents were paying quite a bit of money for me to go to it, and they said, if you're not doing TE, then we're not going to have you at school. There's no point.
Return on investment.
There's no return on investment. And at the same time this was happening, I actually was going through a lot socially at school. So with that and with not having enough subjects for uni, I was get me out of this place. It's not for me. So that was an option. Obviously, mum and dad were you can leave school because of TE and stuff. And I was okay, cool. These 2 things, just school isn't working for me. I left school and I did beauty therapy. And I've always had like a real interest in beauty. And beauty therapy, like I excelled at. Like that was the best time. Like when I went to beauty school, so I got my diploma of beauty therapy and I studied for a whole year. That it was amazing. Like half the day was spent giving a massage, half the day was spent receiving a massage. The next day, half the day I gave a facial, the rest of the day I received a facial. Like it was bliss. And obviously there was a lot of like human biology stuff as well that I had to learn. I had to learn about like the compounds of skin and all this like actual science, which is funny because at high school I was terrible at science. Beauty therapy couldn't get enough of it. And I think it just goes to show that like if you're in the wrong environment or put you in the right environment, it's like the thing your intelligence, you don't measure a goldfish's intelligence by how it climbs a tree or something. Like I just probably completely butchered that, but you know what I mean? Like that's, if you're put in the right environment, you can shine.
I think you're 100% right. Like we are classic examples of that.
Yeah.
Like, I was tragic at school because I wasn't interested in it. You weren't great. I mean, you're smart. You did good. I remember you telling me like in your primary school, like you were one of the top students. Like you are smart, but if there's no reason for us to apply ourselves to anything, like what's the point?
If there's no interest there. Yeah. So I did beauty therapy. It was amazing. I was top of the class at beauty therapy. And
you're a qualified masseuse.
Yes.
Very interesting. Very interesting to know.
So I ended up graduated from beauty therapy, had my diploma, like had so many friends. Like that was a really great, I have nothing bad to say. That was a really great experience for me. And then that was when I was 17, I turned 18 and I was working as a beauty therapist, like part-time. And then, which was great, like no complaints. I really enjoyed that. And then after that, the pay was really low though. And so I started
as a beauty therapist?
As a beauty therapist.
And
so
you working full-time?
Part-time.
Part-time.
But my weekends were like, I would go out partying. The salon wasn't open on Monday. So Monday I would spend the day like hungover recovering. Tuesday I'd turn up to work at like 12 o'clock, do a couple massages, go home. Like I was chill. Like my pay was, I deserved what I was getting. Like I wasn't excelling at anything here. But oh my God, I remember they had these chocolates like behind the reception desk, and I have a little bit of a binge eating background that can be a whole nother episode, but I had no self-control. I used to eat so many chocolates. They would know as well. Like the little love hearts with the pink foil.
Did you get fired for eating the chocolate?
No, I didn't get fired. I was great there. But I just showed up, did my job and left. And then I realized I needed more money. I remember I got told off by my mum and my dad. And they said to me that you can't just like get drunk every weekend all weekend and be hungover on Monday and then like go to work on Tuesday and then start again on Friday. Like this isn't adulthood. And so I ended up applying for jobs as like a receptionist or something. Like I was just trying to get entry level. And I interviewed at a recruitment agency. And the salary was $21,000 a year, full-time.
That is criminal.
It must have been legal, surely, but it was the absolute minimum, 21K, full-time salary.
Did you think to yourself, oh, this is low? Or were you just like,
no,
wow,
oh my God, no way. So I got the job. I believe I got the job because not only did I nail the interview, of course, but I think I was the only candidate that would accept the salary. Got the job. I called up my ex. And I said, I have got so much money. I have a full-time salary now, like blah, blah, blah. Like I was so proud. Like I was like, fuck you. Like I'm a boss bitch now. And I worked my butt off in this job. I still did a bit of beauty therapy at home. Like I would do like mani-pedis and things like that from like my home salon. And then I ended up getting a promotion. I think I got a 2K pay rise and I moved into an admin position.
Wow.
That was after a while of being a receptionist.
Climbing the corporate ladder.
I was. And I stopped working from home. I stopped doing beauty therapy because like I had a big girl job. Like I had to like work late some nights and I wasn't part of the like 4 p.m. club. Like I am there and I am working and putting in the extra hours. And I ended up just so I went from receptionist to admin to a resourcer, which was like, I don't know if this still exists in the recruitment world, but a resourcer would be like, I guess it's like how we find influencers. It's so funny. It is. It's like how we find influencers in life now. What I used to do back then was like finding candidates for particular jobs. It is funny because recruitment has taught me so much about every area that I need to do at work. And it's only just now clicking. It's kind of like last week how we said that there was things that happened in our past. And then we're like, oh, right, that makes sense. Like why we do this in our current state. Resourcer, and then I went to a recruitment consultant. I ended up leaving that firm. I went to another recruitment agency as a recruitment consultant. I went to a senior account manager and et cetera, et cetera. I kind of traveled, and I think I worked at 4 or 5 recruitment agencies. What's cool though is that a couple of the times my manager would leave the agency and then they would be at a different place and they would poach me.
Yeah.
And I think like that's like shout out to like my work ethic, and like I'm really proud of that.
Well, you almost become like irreplaceable.
Yeah.
So that when someone leaves, they take their like
their little
team.
posse with them.
Yeah, because that's like a reflection on you as an individual. Because I'd imagine if I was going to leave here, I'd take...
You'd take me?
No, but I think it's such a testament to the value you add, right? Like that, it almost shows me that person received their promotion on the back of the value you add to what they've done.
Yeah.
And I don't think people appreciate it and realize that.
It was really cool. So I would go, so I followed like my boss to a couple of different places, which was really fun. And then, yeah, that's how I kind of ended up meeting you. Should I go into that here now too?
Go on.
I guess so. So
tell the story from your point of view.
all right. So I'm working in recruitment. Like I said, I kind of built my way up into more of a like I wasn't like a CEO of a firm or anything, but like I'm a senior recruiter, little boss bitch, and I was working on St. George's Terrace. We're from Perth, so we're still in Perth at this point. And I went into the supplement store on my lunch break. I wasn't really like I wasn't like a fitness girl. I just like wanted some powdered peanut butter because I heard it was low calorie.
You were into fitness.
True.
At that point.
I would like budget for a new workout shop every month or something. And I won't name what workout brands.
I was going to say, are you going to go there?
And I heard that like powdered peanut butter had lower calorie than normal. So I went into the supplement store, and that's when I met you. But you had really bumped up your prices. It was so expensive to shop there.
It wasn't my shop. I was just employed. I was trying to earn a living.
It was expensive. So I went in there and had a look at the price. I said to this stranger behind the counter,
this good-looking fitness specimen of a man.
A fitness specimen. And I said, I was like, this is so expensive. Like I can get it for like half price at Coles. And I don't know, you said something snarky back, and then I think I just left.
Yeah, we got off to a great start.
That was it.
I got to set the scene. Like, so, you guys can imagine we're in corporate Perth in the middle of the city. So all day long, it's just corporate people up and down. And there was this hot redhead in a black dress, and he used to wear nude heels. I remember with the Louis Vuitton bag, and you had these big sunnies walking past. I saw you a few times, by the way.
Did you really?
Yeah, 100%. Because like where my counter was, I'd stare straight out the door, and it wasn't a very busy. I'd literally sometimes sit there and just like stare straight at the door and watch people go by, because it wasn't a super busy store. You'd have these massive rushes, and then I didn't have that much to do at that point, because at the same time I was working on STAX. Terrible employee, and I'd watch you walk past because a lot of your meetings would be at the coffee shops around.
Oh, yes.
So
as
you
a
would just
recruiter,
walk in.
I was on coffee dates all day long.
And I think I didn't even tell you this, but before you came into my store, at that time, I was watching you walk by.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, actually, I remember, yeah.
You little pervert.
No, I had eyes for one woman only.
So anyway, then I went back in. Like, I kept going back in, and it was so funny.
Every single day
Every
for
day.
lunch
But it was so
to
funny
buy a
because
protein bar.
my recruitment office was so casual. Like, I would wear like a black dress, and then in the office, we would all be wearing like flats or like Havianas or whatever. And then obviously if you're going out with a client, you put on your heels. And usually on your lunch break, you would take off your heels and like walk the streets in your Havianas, which is such a funny thing because my clients are on St. George's Terrace. But on my lunch break, I'm like running, and I always put my heels on when I see my clients. But on my lunch break, when everyone else is on St. George's Terrace is on lunch, you put your flats on and it's fine. Isn't that like? But you're probably going to run into your client. Like
you have more of a chance of seeing people. You don't really think that's rude.
And so many more, because like if you are just going to meet your one person for a coffee and you've got your heels on, that's fine. But if you're on your lunch break in peak lunch, you're going to see people that you know. You have to just keep your heels on. Nonetheless, we would take our heels off at lunch and like go and play, whatever. I would always put my heels on, not wear my heels in the office, put my heels on to go and see Don. And yeah, we eventually just started talking.
People don't want to hear about the love story right now. We want to hear about what do you think, where do you think you would have ended up if you didn't cross over STAX? Like at that time when you were, because you had a good career job.
Yeah.
You probably would have exceeded in that environment, because I even remember like your CEO at the time still took you to your next job after that.
Yeah.
But if you didn't meet me and completely do a 360 or a 180 flip, what do you think your career would have been like? Where do you think you would have ended?
So I think I did work. I mean, it hasn't always been like super easy for me, my recruitment jobs. Like I have had some experiences where like I was bullied at work. Before going to the office every single day, I would be in tears. That was when we were together. And it was a lot of time was like really hard for me to get up and go to work. But I've always just got it done. Like I never took a day off. I would always just kind of push through, do the work, because like I needed a paycheck, right? Luckily enough, I managed to settle or end my recruitment career at a job that I loved, which was amazing.
You had a great boss.
I had a great boss. Shout out to Michaela if she's listening.
She was really amazing. And how many workplaces did you work with her? 2, hey?
Yeah. And yeah, Mick was amazing and is amazing. She's such an inspiring woman and she's taught me a lot. She also helped us a lot when it came to like making business decisions at the start of our business when we hadn't had too much experience. So it is funny how you kind of see these things or things that have shaped you in the past, and they have shaped me into who I am today and how I act today. And it's like even the other day when I was on the way to speak at BitchCon, which was the event is by like-minded bitches drinking wine. I was a guest on the panel, and that was the second time I've done it. I had been asked back, which again, like when people ask me back or take me with them, I'm so complimented. And on the way there, I said to you, like, it's just so funny to think that like when I was 16, I would eat lunch like by myself in the toilet every day because I had no one to eat my sandwich with. And now I'm about to speak in front of like 600 women that are here to like hear my story. Like it's just so crazy to think that like shit can be so hard and you really like life just like it works out. It really does. If you're a good person and you just push through, it always works out for you.
I think I just wanted to touch on one point, something you mentioned. You know, I think when we look at our journey, I think some people that are doing a job they may not love right now sometimes underestimate the value and the learnings that they're going through. I remember like every single phase of employment has taught you something that's prepared you for your dream job.
Yeah.
So, you know, back to your point, I empathize and I feel sad for you when you had to eat your lunch in the school bathroom. But I think, and a message I really want people to take from this is like things that are happening to you right now are happening to you for a reason, and you won't understand the scope of that or the value that's adding to your life until you fast forward into the future. If you choose a path where you want to add value to people's lives and when you want to correct your ways, because sometimes like you can end up being a shit person, but like so much in our lives of our references in our past from way back before we even met each other has led to massive learning experience that we are able to use now in some of the shit we have to deal with.
I just thought of a quote. Maybe I just made it up. Quote me if you guys use it. You can't like, when you have a book, you can't just pick out a random chapter and expect it to make sense, right?
Yeah, I love that. I think it's important. While you were speaking, I was thinking of something. I had like this this vision or this idea in my mind. You know, some people are super privileged that they get a second opportunity. They have this ability or this opportunity to try again and to progress in their lives. And I think certain people don't take those opportunities, because I also think that some people just don't have the opportunity to have a better life.
Or they don't think they deserve it.
Or they don't think that they deserve it.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, if we're in a position, or if anyone that's listening to us is in a position where they've gone through whatever they've gone through or they're going through whatever, I really believe in the optimistic outlook in that and think that there's going to be an end. There's an end to everything. And there's going to be an end to that situation. And if you're privileged to get to the end of that, you're going to progress.
And you're with the lessons that you learned while you were in that situation.
And you're going to understand then why you're going through what you're going through now.
There's even little things like taking on these situations and not dwelling in them, but fixing it, making amends where you need to, and learning from it and learning why you acted a particular way. I think it's so important, and it all like comes down to growth as well, and understanding like who you are as a person and like molding your story to where you are now.
It's vitally important. Vitally, like we're forever learning.
Yeah.
You know, I just think, you know,
The same thing like you said about parents, like we're all just as fucked up.
I just look at some of the stuff we have to deal with on a daily basis, right? And you know, it's funny that we still have to be dealing with things that are teaching us, crazy things, cool things. But you're forever learning. You're forever a student to life and a student of life.
And it's so important to pull yourself up on those things, I think. Like there's so many people as well, I think. That's like something I really am proud of too, is that I can see these situations and I can see where I went wrong or what I did incorrectly, and I can learn from it instead of just blaming the other person or blaming something else, a situation that isn't. Because at the end of the day, we are in control of our situations and we do have the ability to take back control depending on how we act in the next instance.
Oh, it's so important. I was just thinking, you know, while you were saying that, like one of the things about honesty is our relationship, and we always call each other out. And no, but it's so good. I think in my progression as a human, and I've seen it with you as well, you should never feel like you should ever have to defend yourself. We are who we are, and it's okay to make mistakes.
And people fuck up all the time.
All the time, every single day. But I think when people are insecure and when you feel like you've got a point to prove to the world, you try and cover it up and you try and come up with excuses instead of just being like, guys,
there's a lot of power in owning your mistakes.
I'm doing the best I can. You know, I think I said it in the VIP group the other night on Facebook. Like, you know, there was someone complaining about the shipping times in a Black Friday period, and I stand by my word. I am 100% proud of how much better we've worked to perfect our Black Friday process and our orders and stuff this time around. We're auditing it right now, and we know that there's things we can improve on. But my comment back was like, we are literally trying the best we can.
Yeah,
we're doing the best we can, and I think that is a very good lesson in life. It's that just always do the best you can.
And it's like, even though as well, like I've been through like some fuck ups, like I've fucked up a few times, like, but life's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Like you can always make do, and you can always get out of it, I think, as long as you have like a strong mindset and you just like, you want to do the right thing. You know, I don't think anyone sets out to make a mistake or to fuck up badly.
No.
But it happens. You've got to be able to pull it around and switch up.
I say this to the team all the time. Like I say this to the managers, I'm like, no one wakes up in the day, goes to work, and thinks to himself, I want to have a fuck up today. I want to cause someone grief. I don't believe humans are that way inclined. I know that some people are, but the people in our environments are just trying to do their best.
I think there's something so powerful as well. I know I probably just said it, but about like owning your mistakes. I do that now. Like sometimes if I say something and like I'm not so much an overthinker anymore, because I'll just call things out. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes Don doesn't love it, but I do. Like the way I'm feeling, if someone says something, if I feel like I have said something incorrect, I'll just call it out straight away. Like I can't remember the other day, we were at dinner with Amal and I said something to Amal, and then I thought, fuck, I hope she didn't read into that, or I hope this didn't come across that way. And so I said like, hey, like I feel really awkward about what I just said before. I hope that didn't affect. Like Amal is my best friend. Like she's one of my best friends. It's not.
You're overthinking that as well.
She wasn't offended. Oh, no, but like that's the thing, is like, hold on, wait, that's a mistake. Like me saying whatever I said, like sat poorly, like on my heart, and I just said it and I fixed it. Do you know what I mean? Like instead of like thinking, like turning that into a big deal. It's nice just if you fuck up, if you make a mistake, just own it.
Yeah.
And fix it.
And move on. Yeah. That's like our life journey.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think that there's so much to learn. And we're on this cool journey, this cool path, and
I hope some of those stories like just kind of, because I have never shared them before, so I hope that if you're going through anything similar or that you can relate that to, you know, there's like always light at the end of the tunnel.
And I think we'll wrap up on that. So I think if there's one lesson that you want to reiterate, that you want to share with.
Wait, I wanted to tell you about my very, very first job. I've got another thought. Okay, right. My very, very first job.
What was your first job?
I worked at Leonard's Chicken Shop.
Oh my goodness.
I lasted 5 days, 5 shifts at Leonard's. I remember I would wear my hair like pulled back and I put like a little like butterfly clip or something in it, and I got in a lot of trouble because you can't have that at Leonard's. I don't like touching raw meat. I don't like, not like a meaty person. So that wasn't probably the best fit for me looking back. I lasted 5 shifts and all I could afford was a Roxy bikini. I remember that, and my paycheck. And then I resigned after 5 shifts. So it was a couple of days, very first. Second job was at a fish and chip shop. I used to just give free food away to cute boys. So my work ethic hasn't necessarily always been there, but it definitely is something that kind of, it developed. My work ethic developed.
I'm glad you've come this far.
We have come this far.
If there's one lesson you want to reiterate and share in the podcast today, the people listening to this or watching, what would it be?
I think it's just where you are now isn't where you're going to end up. And it's all part of the story. Like, don't compare. This is a quote that I like repeat all the time, but it's like, don't compare your current chapter to someone's story or to someone else's chapter, because all of the little baby chapters make up your entire story, and all of those hardships that I went through and, you know, the shitty times that I went through, they make up who I am today, and I've learned so much from it. So it's, yeah, just like where you are now it's not the end destination.
I think I love that.
You think you love it?
Yeah, I think I love it.
Okay, cool.
But what I think is people are going to enjoy after we've done like 20 or 30 of these episodes, because every single time you've got a new quote.
I'm such a quote girl.
We're gonna we're gonna release a book. But there's a quote you told at BitchCon recently that you heard, but I think we're gonna leave today on a cliffhanger, and people are gonna have to come back to hear that one.
The quote.
In the
we
next
better
quote.
remember.
Guys, hope you love this podcast.
Thank you
so
for
much for
watching.
listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.